No more page tabs. So, to walk you through some of these changes in greater detail, here you see a default landing page from the old design. In this case, it's a landing page from McDonald's. So you can see here, well, it's a little hard to tell, but what you have here is a page that acts as a gateway to the rest of the McDonald's Facebook page. To pass through the remainder of the content, McDonald's is asking you to give their page a like. Unfortunately, this popular method, known as fan gating, is no longer allowed with the new design, because you can no longer specify default landing pages that visitors see first. Width change. Here you can see in greater detail the page width increase that I mentioned earlier. It's a pretty significant bump in terms of size, which means you have a greater opportunity to leverage high-quality photos and graphics to engage visitors right away and draw them into your page. Make sure you take advantage of this change. No more calls to action. And to show you an example of what Facebook no longer allows for cover photos, here you'll see an image from Starbucks' old page in which they use an arrow in the image to encourage visitors to hit the like button. Facebook is very clear that they will not allow this kind of call to action on cover photos. When do these changes take effect? As I mentioned earlier, the new timeline layout for brand pages takes effect at the latest on March 30th, but if you're ready sooner, you can flip the switch and start using the new design when you're ready. But again, ready or not, when March 30 comes, all pages will be forcibly changed to the new layout regardless of whether your content is optimized, and it will be very obvious to the world if you have not updated your page, so be aware of this change. Why is Facebook doing this? Let's take a few minutes to explore Facebook's motivations for making these changes. I can assure you, they are not making these changes to make your life more difficult. Facebook is constantly thinking about how they can further solidify their position as the king of the social media landscape, and these changes reflect that desire to stay fresh and to stay innovative in an effort to preserve their position at the head of the pack. Improve user experience. And the most effective way to do that, to stay on top, is to improve the user experience, to create a website that people love to use, a website that they return to often and use for longer and longer periods of time. That's their first and primary motivation, to improve the user experience across the board for companies, nonprofits, and individuals. Give brands new ways to connect with fans. So, Facebook's other motivation for making these changes is to give brands a new way to reach out and engage with their fans and prospects. Because the more rich and valuable Facebook can be as a partner to business, the more businesses will invest in Facebook as an important marketing and outreach platform. So Facebook is always looking for ways to improve their usefulness to businesses and brands. Improve Facebook's bottom line. Of course, if they are able to accomplish all these things, if they are able to improve the user experience and give businesses more tools for reaching customers, Facebook will be able to add more dollars to their already sizable bank account. Impact on my business. So those are the reasons why Facebook is kicking up all this dust and making changes and moving things around and changing designs and functionality. But the big question for you is, how will this stuff impact my business? Let's dive into that question. What should my business consider? Two things here. What should your business consider? The first question to ask, do I have the time and resources to address this shift? But to go a step further, the question all businesses should be asking themselves is, do I have the resources to fully leverage these changes and profit from them? Those are two very different approaches. The first involves doing the bare minimum to keep pace with the changes, but the second, and encourage you to follow the second path, is to ask yourself, how can you take advantage of these changes to improve your social media presence in the larger sense? Impact on existing pages. So, for those of you who currently have pages on Facebook, and that's probably most of you, you have a few things to pay attention to now. For starters, you need to set aside time to update the art and copy on your page to reflect the new design. Secondly, you need to get in the habit as a publisher of content to stay true to the new image-centric design and make sure you have the visuals to support this layout. Lastly, since friend activity is displayed so prominently on your page, you need to make sure you're keeping tabs on the conversation that others are having about your brand and your industry so you can shape and add to that conversation. Impact on businesses without pages. My guess is that there aren't many of you listening who don't have pages. But if there are some that haven't yet climbed aboard the Facebook train, I just want to say that you no longer have any excuses for getting started. I don't want to get into the case for using Facebook because I could give an entire video presentation on that subject alone, but suffice to say, Facebook is an incredibly valuable tool for any kind of business in any kind of industry. The new Facebook timeline layout gives business even more tools to interact with buyers and build relationships, so you really should get involved if you have not already. What changes do you need to make? All right, let's tackle this question for a moment. For starters, you need to add a cover photo. Now, you could grab a photo willy-nilly, snap a pic on your camera phone, and just upload it and be done, but I really encourage you to take your time and invest the necessary resources to make sure you have a really sharp cover photo for your page. The cover photo is so prominent, and it will be the first impression that visitors get out of your business, so make it count. Second, you'll want to optimize your existing page tabs for the new 810 pixel wide layout. Third, and this one is really important, you'll want to consider rewriting your about statement, because this bit of text is now displayed above the fold, very prominently for visitors to see. And it's probably the most important chunk of text that people will read, so you want to make sure it's accurate and compelling. How can I get the most out of the new Facebook changes? Okay, I'm now going to take a couple minutes to provide tips on how to navigate the switch and make the most of the changes. Think visual. 1. The most important thing is to think visual. The new design puts a much greater emphasis on visual communication, so you'll want to make sure that every image you upload to Facebook is supporting your story and putting your brand in the best possible light. So the challenge for business is to incorporate more and better imagery into their pages and to drive engagement among users and fans. Apps are the new tabs. Also remember, and forgive me if I'm beating a dead horse here, but I want to be clear, apps are the new tabs. Whereas you used to have a long list of pages, you now get a certain amount of space to display your most important apps or page tabs. Use milestones. Using milestones is one of the best ways to leverage the new timeline layout, so make sure you take some time to think about the story you want to tell your prospects and clients and how you want to tell that story using images and text. Highlight your best posts. Again, to take advantage of the new layout's emphasis on imagery, you'll want to find great images that support your branding goals and highlight them to give them more prominence on your page and draw fans in. Monitor friend activity. Now, given the tools at your disposal, you'll want to take more time to monitor what people are saying and doing relative to your brand. In the history of marketing, there really hasn't been such a great way for brands to get such a clear look at how their buyers behave and what resonates them. And the businesses that take full advantage of this information will have more success than their competitors. Dive into the admin panel. Which brings us to the admin panel, which provides you with an unbelievably transparent look into how your page is faring and how well your outreach efforts are doing. The power of online marketing, again, is the ability to track and measure things that used to be totally unknown. Facebook has really given business some great tools for managing and tracking their results, and fortunately for all of us, they keep adding new features and measurements that will make actively engaged businesses even more successful. Cover photos. Know the rules. Finally, it's very, very important that you know the new rules regarding cover photos, so I'll present you with this verbatim list of restrictions that Facebook has published in their terms and conditions. 1. No price or purchase information. 2. No contact information can be embedded on the cover photo. 3. You can no longer ask people to like your page or share it with others. 4. You cannot issue any calls to action in your cover photo. Overwhelmed? Okay, at this point you might be feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to proceed. Don't worry, you can do it. And we're always here to help if you need us, so don't hesitate to contact us after this presentation if you need assistance making the transition to the new timeline layout. Questions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can email me at cheller, cheller, at DynaDig, dynadig.com, or give us a phone call at 855-DynaDig, and we can help you make this switch from the old Facebook to the new Facebook timeline. Thanks a lot for joining me. I hope this was helpful.